Hey, check up. Let's play some D. Welcome to episode 24 of my weekly installment called Play Some D. Originally set as a podcast type deal, that was my original intention, but now it's just a weekly show where I pop on with four topics, four quarters, maybe overtime. Last week had overtime. And yeah, Coach D, as I didn't say, yes, it's me, Coach D. I'm your host for Play Some D. And yeah, we do four topics. I break them up into four quarters, like four quarters of a basketball game or football game, essentially, because it's mostly sports on here, but that's really not true. It's really variety because variety is the spice of life. And this week I have variety out the yin yang because there's no sports. I think I did the last two episodes were all sports or something like that. Then a lot of topics straight on sports, but this week we have Zippo on sports. Zero. Zero. Okay, but before we get jumping into play some D, if you don't mind, tap on that like button, hit that subscribe button, and yeah, this week we got some fun stuff. I think I'm gonna talk about OnlyFans. I'm going to talk about HBO Max's show White Lotus. I'm gonna talk about Madden 22 because why not? Why not? I brush on video games, and I feel like I've given Call of Duty the love for video games. Let's talk about Madden, and we're going to talk about Apple and its privacy photo scanning deal. Yeah. So that's what we have in store for today with a slight chance of overtime. But I mean, just so much stuff going on. I mean, obviously, it's vaccine stuff that I don't really want to talk about because everybody's talking about it. I just don't want to talk about what everybody's talking about. And Afghanistan, also, same thing. It's just kind of, you can get a lot of information about that. I don't think I need to I'm not pressed to expose my thoughts on it. They're pretty much, I think they're normal to what most people think. So I don't feel like I need to talk about that stuff. But there is interesting stuff in the news. There was a 200-meter race with Shikari. I still probably saying her name really wrong, where she got smoked. But I think she's fine. I think she hasn't ran in a while and whatever. This is just some news that I could have touched on, but those are the four topics for today. And let me get this mic up here. Without further ado, let's tip this baby off. Let's get straight into this joint with Apple's privacy news. So basically, they're doing a safety photo scanning. Um, the system is detecting child sexual abuse material, and I'm just really on the big fence with this because I think it's an excellent thing to attack, to show some interest in, because I feel like kids are super vulnerable. Well, I got that word right. I think I got it right. And and adults prey on them. So any deterrent helps, but the thing is that there's so many different applications that a person would then just it just creates, I think, just the inconvenience for anybody that is using their phone to do this type of illegal things. So then those people actually just transition into doing something completely, using something completely different to do whatever craziness they're doing. And then regular people's stuff is being fiddled with. And uh, for me personally, I barely send picture messages. I have nothing on the iCloud. I totally refuse. I'm never sending Apple anything to iCloud. Like, I don't want them to have any remnants of me at all. I barely want their cell phone. I mean, I've been a huge advocate on going back to flip phones. I mean, if they could just have GPS and text, take some cool pictures, and that's it. I can do everything else honestly from the web. App just basically turned into web applications that track everything you do. I mean, that's a whole nother topic, a whole nother day. But yeah, I don't want it basically scans messaging app, and it'll scan iCloud apps for known child abuse material. So, and it says before the images even leave the device. So basically, it kind of it does a quick scan, and I think it mentioned something about has to show X amount of scans before I guess it gets flagged or something of that nature. But that wouldn't take long if enough time, that picture gets sent enough times or whatever. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but or how the scanning and how they would identify it works. But I do think it does walk a tight line on people's privacy, and they'll have to iron out. I mean, this is early. I think it's going to be a part of um, starting with iOS 15 coming this year. So yeah, iOS 15. So it could also be people just not downloading iOS 15. Number of different things here that can stop this scanning method or privacy, whatever you call it, from happening. But and then Apple, with that being said, has some time. Apple is rolling out new child safety features and updates to iOS in the coming this year. It said August 5th that it doesn't affect all iPhone users, and for the near future, at least the feature will be available only in the United States. So they still have some time to like iron it out and to kind of get the messaging straight. Because as we've all come to find out, that messaging is big on a lot of different things. Um, Elected officials, vaccines, masks, day to day things we do, how it's presented to you in the messaging, it all matters. So, like I said, I like to see companies like this try to put some skin in the game and say, hey, we're fighting, but when you try to save things, sometimes you may damage other things. Like I'm trying to save endangered species in the midst of destroying a whole nother habitat. It's not that extreme, but that's kind of the lines you walk when you're trying to help something, but you may hinder something else more drastically. Um, and that just depends on how people feel about it, because privacy with technology is pretty much what all people have left. I mean, everything is going digital, and so everybody's photos are. You remember back in the day, we would have photo albums, or in my house, we had a basket of photos that we like flip through. Now you just flip through your phone, and that can easily be transferred online and sent to multiple people, and multiple people can see it. It's not so private anymore as it used to be, and people can grab, as if before people could grab that picture, steal it, but then they would have to physically lug it around. But now if you get somebody's phone and do a quick send here, or in Apple's case, do a quick airdrop to my phone, and now I have your photo forever. There's nothing you can do about it. I can send it off, and it's in virtual land essentially forever. Facebook too. So privacy is a really big deal. So Apple, just like I said, I think it's just important they get the messaging down about how they're actually telling people, and they're going about how it's going to work. How it will work for a photo to be classified as known CSAM. CSAM stands for child sexual abuse material. It must appear in both NCMEC database and another database that maintained by different organization. And the N, that's the National Center for Missing or Exploited Children. So they are linking up with the correct company to figure it out. If a photo on your phone matches up with one in the database, your phone will attach a safety voucher to the photo when it uploads to iCloud. Apple says employees won't be able to look at the photo until there have been 30 matches. At the time, the photos will be decrypted, and an employee will look at the matching photo sent by your phone and determine whether it's indeed child abuse material. Apple will notify NCMEC, which will notify the authorities. So it could be a quick process of tracking something down and maybe helping somebody if it all works. There's concerns about scanning in messages, concern about CSAM detection, and then in the Washington Post article, it talks about how this could all go wrong. Washington Post article, I read skimmed through it, read through it a little bit. So it does give you, I think, a solid breakdown of what everything looks like. So, yeah, like I said, overall, shout out to Apple for attacking this, putting this as a thing for them on their agenda. I think it's cool, but they just got to be careful with, it's, and at least in the United States, hundreds. Let me look. How many iPhones in the United States? iPhones in the United States. Currently, there are more than 113 million users in the United States. 113 million. So you gotta be careful. Got to be careful. All right, from Apple, we move on over to OnlyFans. And this is something I probably could talk about long and hard, and this could probably be a whole play some D. It could just be the whole thing is that OnlyFans wants to find investors, right? But they want to take down their most prominent or their best content, what they're known for, sexually explicit things. I think it's silly. So on one end of it is that one of their top 5 earners, Tyga, who was a rapper, entrepreneur, whatever, he's gonna start his own called MyStar, which only takes 10%. OnlyFans takes 20%, and you will be able to upload explicit material. So he's actually just going to jump in and occupy that void. Now, I'm a big believer in, or acknowledger in American or just corporate greed. OnlyFans has a market. And how much money do you want? It is said to let me get back to where OnlyFans paid out $5 billion to more than 1.5 million creators. $5 billion. And even if you take 10% of that, I can get the number. Is that $500 million? 10% of $5 billion? They don't even seem right. This does not seem right at all. I mean, that is million, right? Like 100 million. Like, I'm not tripping, right? Like $500 million, and you want more? Like, OnlyFans wants more. Gross merchandise value, 2020 2.2 billion, 2021 5.9 billion. I think 2022 the projection for 12.5. Net revenue in 2020 375 million. 2021 1.2 billion. 2022 1.1 is going to be. Oh, these are your projections. They got to be projections for 2020. There are projections for 2021, 2022. Over 50% of OnlyFans revenue in March came from paid subscriptions, while the other 30% came via chat. The rest combination of tips, streams, and paid posts for 3 accounts. Their free cash flow for 2020 was 150. They're projecting 620 and 1.2 billion. The total amount paid since inception. This says 3.2. This is on Axios. This was from CNN. The 5 billion was from CNN's article, according to OnlyFans website. So this says 3.2. Either way, it's billions. A bunch of money. More than 300 creators earn at least $1 million annually. Around 16,000 creators earn at least 50,000 annually, which is average salary. More than 7 million fans spend on OnlyFans each month. It has even more users who only consume free. In short, OnlyFans has a porn problem, even though it never once mentioned porn in its pitch deck. Something. So investors don't want to touch sexually explicit content. And I think that's totally fine if they won't, if they don't. But OnlyFans should understand that that's the market you're in. I think some people, I think it's just a simple case of greed and just a bit of stubbornness. Is that sometimes you do have a market cap. Sometimes you do have a ceiling on just how much money you're gonna make, and you should just be okay with that. Maybe they can roll out another platform that's not sexually explicit, but let OnlyFans be OnlyFans, and then you could kind of take what you have and build something else along the lines of the success you had. I just think it's silly for them not to let other where they have a space that is maybe it's not the greatest, but they would then be squandering into essentially paid Instagram of some sort, or less efficient X-rated sites, and not triple X rated, just X-rated sites. And then where does that evolve to? Like, where does that go to? Where you're gonna lose creators, you're gonna lose users, you're gonna lose all of the above, and then you gotta fall back and then grow more. I mean, they made OnlyFans and they created this. Maybe they do have great ideas and they can make this work without it. Or maybe they gather all their money and then they're just trying to grab some more and do a quick in and out dash. I'm not sure. But it just sounds like another case of greed where OnlyFans should just let OnlyFans rock. Let it ride. Let it ride till the wheels fall off. I never thought it was sustainable. I always thought it was silly. I've personally never seen any content on there that I would have ever paid for. Personally, this is a personal opinion. For the people that do, salute to you. You like what you like and you pay for what you pay for. Understand that. Some people will say they never will go to the movies and pay for movies. I go to the movies and pay for movies. So, there it is. But it's just interesting to hear this come out. It was rumblings about it and how they were trying to hush or like kind of pull back the reins on some of the sexual context, and I guess maybe it's some illegal pornish stuff gets put up there. I'm not sure. But they can figure that whole process out about getting actual people that are making the content up there. I mean, that sounds like a bigger problem than just taking it all off. And once again, sex sells. And they obviously know that. So to get away from that and then essentially open up a big wide hole lane for somebody to come in and suck all that crowd in is just silly to me. But who am I? I'm just some regular guy named D that does a podcast every week about topics. You know? You know. All right, so halftime, as always, I do my little dance, do my little dance. Then I pop up into the tents. HBO Max, White Lotus. HBO Max, White Lotus. It's a satire comedy drama, drom-com, not a rom-com. Com drum. And it premiered July 11th. I just started watching it. I actually watched episode 1 a few weeks ago, and I was just like, I'm never going to watch this. And then actually, in the background, had episode 2 playing and caught some funny, cool moments. It played all the way through while I was busy, and then I went back and rewatched it, and then it actually got substantially better. 6 episodes. It is starred by Sydney Sweeney from Euphoria and the beautiful Alexandria Daddario. I think it's a great cast. I don't know what people are talking about. I don't know if people are talking about inclusion with black folks, and it's Hawaiian. Takes place on the island of Hawaii, so there's Hawaiians in it. I don't know if people are talking about diversity or whatever it may be. It was a good show about, essentially what it was about. I think I was reading a little bit and just didn't further catch up on it, but I'll read more. The music really, I think, catches you a lot in here because it plays a little bit too much, I think. But in the moments that it plays, more moments than not, it plays and it tells the story of the characters or the moment. And sometimes I just think it's a filler for no dialogue, which also makes sense. The show starts off with a cool cliffhanger, and then it's a family of 4 with a friend. There's a married couple, and then a lady who's just off her wits. It's 3 centralized families that show up to the island, and then there's other characters on the island or the resort that are characters too, and they all intertwine with each other in multiple different ways, and it comes to a rather interesting ending based off of the beginning. I thought it was good. I like the limited series that HBO does. I don't want to really be invested in 12 episodes all the time. 10 episodes, whatever it is, especially being an hour long, it can get a bit distracting. For the people that want those escapes, I understand why they do it. But the limited series with known characters, and these are all, I think all the actors here were pretty phenomenal. There were some off moments, some awkward moments that kind of fell off, but there was a few people that were spot on in almost all of their scenes, and it made it an enjoyable and I think an authentic watch. The family dynamics and just the dynamics in period. The dynamics period just change throughout the 6 episodes, which I think is cool, but they change in different paces and in different directions. They all do kind of different stuff, and they all get different places with somewhat of a ending. I won't call it happy or whatever, but with some sort of ending. And I think it replicates some sort of real life, which is what I like. I like real life interpersonal relationships that are kind of talked through, acted through, and act it out because people are going through them, and when they're done correctly or well, they don't necessarily mean that's something you should do in your life, but I think it can be used as some form of therapy to say, look at this perspective from a theatrical standpoint, and maybe you look at it like maybe I can try that, maybe I won't, or haha, I get to laugh at that, or hey, that happened even before, all of the above. But overall, I think it was a good watch. The music, I said, it's a little bit over the top, but it's really excellent. I don't know if it's all Hawaiian based or all. I guess I gotta read up again on the music, but the music is what overall there's a reoccurring theme sound that plays, and it's so distinct to the show that it even if you're like looking away, like at some moments I was looking away, that sound brought me back in and made me look at the screen. So I thought that was kind of cool, and I don't know if they're gonna do another season. I think some stuff should just be left at one. I was also considering reviewing on here Netflix show Sex Life, with a lot of people talked about just like this. I just think some stuff should be left at one season, or do like some of the series do, like True Detective and other series where you come back with just a whole new class. I think Modern Love is doing that. I think Modern Love is excellent. I want to watch season 2 of that. You just come back with a whole new different crew of people with different situations, and I think it gets kind of cool. And that may be what White Lotus might do. We'll see. And it'll be interesting to know the island and the situation, and then they can manipulate it. So we'll see. But overall, thought it was a good show, and I enjoyed the watch. Just finished it up a little bit ago. So that is third quarter. Fourth quarter is probably going to be quick, fast, and in a hurry. And it is EA Sports Madden 22. EA is not in the game. It sucks. All right, folks. So that's episode 20. No, I'm just playing. So Madden 22. John Madden is one of the games, personally, I'm good at video games. I would say I'm not the. I would think I'm really good. If I put the time, if I was able to put the time into them, I think I could be really, really good. But I've always been solid at Madden, and at one point I was considering, taking Madden serious. But once again, I didn't realize the time that a lot of people were putting into these games to kind of do essentially glitches, in my opinion. I'm more of a, I play a sports game. I take sports seriously. I actually play sport. Like I can get out there and actually play football. Like I can get up there and run up and down, catch the ball, throw the ball. I can legit go out and compete, like flag or something like that. Like today, like I can go out and actually play some football. I probably couldn't put pads on or run around with like some semi-pro cats or nothing like that, but I can go out in the backyard and have a good run around, go at it with some kids or adults, whoever. So when I look at the actual sport, same thing with basketball. I look at 2K and the games, and they're just not it. After all these years of development and putting it in, EA's had Madden for EA Sports has Madden years. I mean, I don't. Oh, 33 years. I mean, that sounds right. First Madden game. John Madden football is 1988. What was Madden 01? Madden. Yeah, 1980. John Madden football. John Madden 92. John Madden 2. So I would say John Madden. Really, I would say John Madden 95. Who to cover that? Yeah, I think Madden 95. Super Nintendo. Madden 96. Madden 64. they've had this game for so long, and it's just not right. It's not right that NFL fans or football fans have to play this. I saw a glitch today where dude's playing a game and his whole line gets pancaked. I guess there's other glitches out there in the most important mode where people spend hundreds of dollars on virtual cards and compete with each other, and there's glitches in that mode. Um, the competitors win by running the same plays over and over and over again and manipulating how the game doesn't work, essentially. And people make millions of dollars off of that concept, where I think it sucks that the NFL puts their name on this and the players are then associated with it, because then there's actual NFL players with ratings that attach to this. And it's cool in terms of virtualizing them, but I think some of the players look at it like this is kind of a joke. I know if it was me, I would feel that way. It's like, that's not me. Wouldn't do that. I'm a safety. I have way more awareness than that. You're actually, as those players, playing with yourself, and you see yourself do something that's just blasphemy. And I like competition. I like to watch all different sorts of competition, including, top level Madden. I've been personally playing Madden since Madden 95. There was some years, late teens, that I skipped because I just hated the game that much, and I'm back in that place. Last year I bought it, played it for 2 weeks, and I basically wasted $70. I would love to play Madden again, or a football game again. I mean, 2K Sports, there's a lot of people on YouTube and other, I don't know, Twitter probably too, or just everywhere, to talk about, games that replicate some form of normal football. This game just really doesn't, outside of a few just basic things. And then you have a new next gen console where you think, hey, they're developing for the new console, the next gen, and it'll be better, and then it's not. So it's just unfortunate. 2K is going to run down that same line, and I guess just like OnlyFans is just agreed, because they're essentially just they repackaged the same game from last year, add a couple tweaks and features, and charge people $60, $60 to $100 and whatever dollars again, and people buy it because that's their only option. There's a bunch of shooting games out. There's a bunch of MMO games. There's pretty much a bunch of other genre games besides sports. In the last, I think, 10 or so years, you really only have one option for a legit branded or legit NFL, NBA, MLB game. I think the wrestling games have been somewhat satisfied, and I believe FIFA, I'm not totally sure about FIFA, but it seems like people enjoy playing FIFA for the most part. You don't hear nearly as many complaints, and that's also just the different dynamic of football and soccer. Soccer's, it doesn't, kick the ball, move the ball. I shouldn't talk like that, but football, when you can make different guys do different things, it can create some really, it just for the dynamic of plays, play calling, and where the developers design that play to go, and then that adjusts defensive players to do other things, and it just causes issues. And I just don't know if FIFA has any of those issues. And I guess 2K could be a topic if 2K stinks too. But yeah, I did want to get on here and briefly talk about Madden. Like I said, this could have been 3 seconds. This isn't good, and talk to y'all next time. But I did want to go in a little bit more, because I think it's a little bit on me too to because like I said, I would love to get on Madden and spend a couple hours a day knocking heads off and things of that nature. I used to enjoy it when I used to play with my buddies. We used to play franchise mode, and the hit stick, and we would create players, and it's different when if you play with like I suppose somewhat of an honor system where you're just playing for fun. But when you're playing for money's on the line and competition and things of that nature, you kind of got to do what you got to do to win the game. And that's essentially what happened. You know, if you watch competitive Madden, I think a couple years ago, one of the guys won the big tournament by putting linemen at receivers and a kicker at quarterback because he had a quicker handoff and he just ran the ball the whole game. I mean, that's just disgusting. It just didn't make you feel good to even want to win like that or have to play like that for money. But that's the things, you know, that's on a I wouldn't even say, I shouldn't say lower. That's on a higher level of morality, of winning, doing something for money. I mean, it gets really low and nasty. Obviously, we all know people do a lot of crazy, wild things for cash, but that's on a high level. Just playing a innocent game and just kind of glitching it or cheating it, and seeing who can cheat it the best. That's pretty wild, right? And it's just unbelievable. EA Games, I shouldn't say EA Sports, EA Games, just they've made a lot of money off people over the years, and whether they say they're losing money or whatever it may be, they can take a couple years of losing some money to fix the game and give people a solid product to actually play. That would be cool. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to bash Madden forever. I'm going to, leave it there and, yeah, play some D. This is episode 24. 24. The Bean. Kobe. I did the Jordan episode. It's the Kobe episode. R.I.P. to Kobe Bean Bryant. That boy was a bad man. Bad man. MJ the Gizzo. The GOAT. I'm going to do that episode. I'm going to do that eventually. Top I think they're coming out with a 75 greatest players, I think. Maybe somewhere around there I'll probably talk about that, and then I'll probably talk about my top 10, something like that, my top 15. I'll do that soon, NBA. That should get out there. I kind of wanted to save it a little bit, but I mean, I probably shouldn't. I mean, I could redo it again after LeBron retires to see how his ends out, but it's yeah, Mike's the GOAT. So yeah, thanks for watching. This was 24. Please like, please subscribe. I'm Coach D, and I do this weekly. 4 quotas. Sometimes it's some OT. Last week was OT, talking about Ben Simmons. Yeah, that stressed me out, I think, a little bit. Yeah, but as always, until the next time, holla at your boy. I holla.